Okay, today I'm going to show you how to set up for a buffet. So as the catering events come, you'll be able to do it without the help of your teacher. Obviously, every catering event is going to be a little bit different, so this is just kind of giving you basic guidelines for the equipment you might need, etc. Okay? So the first thing when you're getting ready for a catering event is the day before. Usually your teacher will give you maybe a list of equipment that needs to be gathered, or the equipment will maybe already be gathered and it will be on a cart or something, so you can easily wheel it down and everything's there, so you're not running back and forth from the room. So as we talk about with recipes, it's important to have your mise en place prepared. It's the same thing in this case. It needs to be prepared, or else the catering event could be pure chaos if the equipment is not organized properly. Okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you need to make sure that you have silverware. And we can put silverware in one of two ways. It could be at the start of the buffet line, okay, in a basket, container, something of the sort. Or if it's a large catering event and we're serving them lots of food, you can always put this at the individual table for the place setting. And if we were going to do that, we would have little placemats to put at each table setting, and then we would put this like this, and maybe if we had a takeaway item, so you can get a better idea, we would put that on there for the takeaway item, and sometimes we'll print out menu cards, etc. So just to give you kind of an idea. We also try to have centerpieces. So this is an example of a basic centerpiece that we offer to people, and we can put water in them with candles, or obviously not lit, or we can light them if they really wanted. We can put marbles, you can pretty much put flowers in here, anything you want. It's very versatile. So that's one option. Another option that we do sometimes is we can do flowers. Sometimes people want kubi bouquets, cake pop bouquets, so the possibilities are endless. Alright, so let's get back to setting up this buffet. So your silverware, if you want it on here, depending on what your teacher tells you, you're going to put that there, and then the plates are going to be right here. Usually these are the glass plates because we have no disposable, but usually we use disposable plates. And usually they come in packs of 135 plates. Don't put out a huge stack of 135 plates if you don't need that. So part of your mise en place would be like, okay, we're serving 50 people, maybe some people might come in and want more, so you might want like 65 just to be safe, to be ready to go. Alright? When you put them on the line, you want them upside down, inverted, so when a guest or when a student takes the plate, they pick it up from the bottom and their finger does not touch the top of the plate. So that's why it's very important to make sure that they are inverted at the front of the line. Okay? Sometimes if we have enough students working the event, we'll be passing the plates out, and then we can hand off the silverware like so, and sometimes the guests will have to take the plate themselves. It's always faster if we have a student helping run the show, because it moves guests through the buffet line a little bit faster. Okay? The next thing, as we go through, is usually you're going to start off with whatever you start your meal with. So you're thinking to yourself, you start your meal with a salad. So if we're having salad, if the guests or the people want salad when we meet with them, we usually serve salad out of circular bowls. Sometimes we'll put it in a chafing dish, but very rarely it's meant to be in a bowl. These come in all shapes and sizes. This is a smaller one. We have even smaller ones. We have larger ones. So it kind of depends the size of how many people we're serving. Because we want to try to put as much salad in here as possible, so we don't have to keep rotating it up. Right? With that, you're going to need to make sure that you have some type of device to serve it. So in most cases, it's going to be tongs. You're not going to use gloves and hand them their salad. It just doesn't look very professional. So tongs, okay? And then you're going to have your dressing right by it. So if a guest wants dressing, they can easily just put dressing right on. It's not holding up any line, etc. What makes it go even faster is if the person serving the salad also pours the dressing. It moves the people through the line a little bit faster. Alright? Then as we go through, typically we're always going to have a minimum of 3 chafing dishes. Okay? So sometimes 4 depending on what you're serving. After the salad, we usually have bread. You can have bread with the salad, or you can, if you wanted to, end with bread. It kind of depends on how many people are working and the flow, etc. So it's important to think through the flow when you set up a buffet line. So you start with salad, you can do bread here, then you're going to have your shaving dishes, you're going to have your sides. So typically we like to focus on one vegetable dish, one starch like a pasta, rice, potato, and then your main entree. Okay? So your shaving dishes will be set up. Let me show you how to put these together. Okay? So this is the bottom insert. Alright? So you need one of those, and you want to make sure before you put it out it's clean. You'll usually do this the day before. Then you have these fabulous little sternos, and you need 2 for each side, and this is per shaving dish. Okay? Then you put your, this is the bottom insert, and it fits simply right into there. Alright? And then you're going to fill up this with warm water right before the event. Okay? Then the hotel pan is going to go in there when you're ready for service. Usually, we make the food, we put it in here, we bake it, we cover it, put it in the insulated carrier, and then right before service, we put them right in, and we put the top on. Okay? And then you're ready to go. You'll have to then light these, and what happens is the sterno heats the water underneath, just like a double boiler, and it maintains the warm temperature of your food. Right? And then typically, you're going to have somebody, if a student is serving, you're going to have only one tong or service spoon to serve the guest. If it's going to be a help yourself buffet line, meaning people need to come from both sides, you'll need to make sure that there's 2 tongs, one for each side of the buffet line, so the guests can quickly move through that. And again, it's going to depend on how many people are coming to the event, whether you're going to be serving the food, or if the guest is going to be helping themselves and maybe you're just monitoring. Okay? A couple other things. So we'll have that. So say I was going to have chicken, some pasta, and green beans. I probably would start with my green beans, have my pasta, and then I'd have my chicken on the side. Okay? I always end with the entree. If you have more than one option of entree, then you just add another shaving dish. Okay? But typically, we have about 3, 4, at most 5 shaving dishes up at once. And sometimes we might even have 2 buffet lines going, depending on the amount of people that we're serving. All right? So then at the end of the buffet line, usually we would have desserts. And the desserts can be served on a platter. If it's like a cheesecake or something like that, we might have a platter and we put little plates with it already pre-sliced and cut on it with another fork. Sometimes it's just a tray of cookies. It kind of depends on the event. All right? So another thing we need to set up at a catering event is your beverage station. Okay? And usually 2 students, maybe 3, will be assigned to the beverage station. Maybe not even any, depending on if it's a small event. Okay? So at most catering events, we always serve. We have our percolator with coffee. Okay? And we have our same cups that we use for Javicino. Okay? And with that, you always want to make sure you have a basket with your coffee condiments, or sometimes, which would be like your creamers, maybe sugars, things like that. And it might be in little caddies, kind of depending on what's available to you. And then you always want to make sure you have stirs, and they are in a nice silver container just for visual visibility. And then you have your coffee cups. Again, they're going to be upside down, especially if a guest is going to be helping themselves to coffee. It's easy for them to take from the bottom and then go like this. If you had them upward, the guest is going to put their hand in there, okay? Oh, I don't want coffee anymore. Well, now they just contaminated the cup. So that's why it's so important that it's upside down. It also looks much more visually appealing, okay? Usually the lids you can set right in front of them, or you can put them in a basket or something like that to kind of make it come more together and look very elegant, okay? We try to make sure that we have a student kind of monitoring this, and if there is a student assigned to monitor it, you would actually flip this to the other side and you would pour for them and kind of be their beverage tender, okay? So you'd help them with their beverages. Or, like I said, the guests could just help themselves, okay? But it's important when you set this up that everything for the coffee is by the coffee, okay? so they're not like walking to all sides of the table to get what they need. All right. Then on the other spectrum, you're going to have cold beverages. Typically at a breakfast event, we'll have orange juice and water, and maybe sometimes iced tea, etc. At a lunch event, we'd have like a tea, maybe a strawberry lemonade, and water. Okay. We try to make sure that they are pre-filled, so the cups are pre-filled with the lid and the straw, so when a guest comes up, we can just hand it to them and it's easy to go. Sometimes you might get backed up, or it's a smaller event, whatever the case might be, so we might actually have this out to hold the excess of the lemonade or whatever the cold beverage might be. So then you would, again, you would flip this to the other side and you would get it for them as you go, or you would just maintain the cups and the different flavors for the guest. Okay. We also always put together, we usually put our water in here sometimes, or the orange juice is in here for smaller events where the guests can just come up, help themselves. Sometimes for larger events, we also take the pitchers and we put a water pitcher at each table in the center, and then we'll put, if it's, you know, each table seats 8, we'll put 8 cups right next to it so the guests can help themselves. That sometimes keeps lines moving very adequately for during an event. So that's over there is our beverage, our buffet, and you pretty much should be then ready to go. Now this is something that's going to take some practice, but the more events you work, the better you're going to get at that. And it gives you a sense of pride when you can set up for an event without your teacher's guidance, and that shows something for you as a student and individual. So good luck. Hopefully every event you work and set up for is a success. Thank you.